Hey friends, and welcome back to English Podcasts for Listening and Speaking. It's so good to have you here with me again, in this quiet space we create together, where we can slow down and truly connect with the beautiful journey of learning English. Here, we don't rush. We don't stress. Instead, we explore English in a way that feels calm, almost like listening to a gentle story unfold. We weave words and ideas together, letting them sink in naturally, like soft rain on thirsty ground. It's about more than just rules or vocabulary. It's about finding comfort and joy in the process, step by slow step. My hope is that each episode feels like a quiet moment just for you, a chance to breathe, reflect, and gently expand your world through language. If, as we share this time together, something in this episode resonates with you or helps you feel a little more confident, I would be so grateful if you considered liking the episode, perhaps subscribing to the channel, or even leaving a kind comment below. It helps this peaceful space reach more wonderful people just like you, who are also on their own learning path. But truly, your presence here is already more than enough. Now, get comfortable. Maybe pour some tea. And let's begin. Today, I want to invite you into a deeper conversation, one that touches upon the very heart of learning English, especially when it comes to speaking. For so long, we've been taught that fluency is about what comes out of our mouths, the perfect pronunciation, the vast vocabulary, the flawless grammar. And yes, those elements are certainly part of the journey. But what if I told you that the true beginning of fluent English speaking doesn't start with your mouth at all? What if it begins much, much deeper in a place we often overlook? It starts with your mind. This idea, for me, was a profound turning point. I remember countless times feeling a knot in my stomach, even when I knew the words, even when I understood the grammar. The words would just disappear. They would get stuck somewhere between my brain and my tongue, leaving me with a frustrating silence or a jumbled mess of half-formed sentences. I'd walk away from those conversations feeling defeated, telling myself, "See, you're just not good at this. You always forget words. You'll never be truly fluent." Do you ever feel that way? That quiet, persistent voice inside that whispers doubts, that highlights every small mistake, that compares you to others and finds you lacking? That, my dear friend, is your self-talk, and it matters more than you might realize. For a long time, my own self-talk was a significant hurdle. It wasn't my vocabulary holding me back. It was the narrative I was constantly replaying in my head. I believed I wasn't good enough, and so, my mind, in its infinite wisdom, would often fulfill that belief by making me nervous, making me stumble, making me retreat. This is where the core concept of mindset shaping fluency truly comes into play. I discovered that my fluency wasn't blocked by a lack of words, but by a surplus of fear and doubt. The fear of making a mistake, the fear of being judged, the fear of not being understood. These emotional blocks were far more formidable than any grammatical rule. It was a revelation when I understood that a positive mindset, something as simple as thinking, "I'm still learning, but I'll try my best," led to profoundly different speaking outcomes than my old, defeatist narrative of, "I can't speak English." It was like a heavy curtain began to lift. I started to consciously challenge that critical inner dialogue. Instead of saying, "I always forget words," I would gently reframe it to, I am learning and growing, and every conversation is an opportunity to improve. This subtle shift in self-talk didn't magically make me fluent overnight, but it began to chip away at the layers of anxiety that had accumulated. It felt like tending to a garden, removing the weeds of negativity so the vibrant flowers of confidence could finally start to bloom. Then came another powerful tool, visualization. Have you ever tried to visualize something before it happens? Like athletes who mentally rehearse their perfect performance before a big game? I started to do the same with speaking English. Before a meeting, or even just before making a phone call, I would close my eyes for a moment. I would imagine myself speaking calmly, clearly, articulating my thoughts with ease. I would picture myself understanding the other person and responding naturally, even if it wasn't perfect. This mental rehearsal, even for a few seconds, subtly reduced the fear and began to prepare my brain for success. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about imagining confidence before the fact, rather than waiting for fluency to somehow magically bring confidence. Because you see, confidence comes before fluency. We often wait, don't we? We think, once I know enough words, once my grammar is perfect, then I'll be confident. But the truth is, confidence is a choice, and it's a muscle that grows with practice, even when you're far from perfect. It's about deciding, I am going to try, and that is enough. Even something as simple as your body language can help trigger a more confident mindset. Standing a little taller, looking someone gently in the eye, even a small, warm smile. These physical cues send signals back to your brain, telling it that you are ready, that you are present. And speaking of presence, one of the biggest lessons was to understand and manage emotions. The fear, the anxiety, the nervousness, they were real, and they profoundly impacted my ability to speak. I learned to acknowledge them without letting them take over. Sometimes, just taking a deep breath, or 2 or 3, before I spoke, was enough to calm my nervous system. And then, focusing not on perfection, but on connection with the other person. That shift from, I must speak perfectly, to, I want to connect and be understood, changed everything. It took the pressure off. It also opened the door to something truly transformative. Thinking in English. For years, I would form a sentence in my native language, translate it word by word in my head, and then try to speak it. It was slow, clunky, and exhausting. But as my confidence grew, and as I released the need for perfection, I started to notice small shifts. I would begin with simple observations throughout my day. I'm brushing my teeth. The coffee is hot. The sky is blue. Just these tiny, silent thoughts in English. Building a mental pathway, slowly but surely, training my brain to process directly in the language. This isn't about rushing. It's about gently nudging your internal monologue towards English. This journey also taught me about identity and belief. If I continued to identify as someone who was not good at English, I would unconsciously reinforce that outcome. It was like I was holding myself back. The moment I started to identify as an English speaker, even if I was still learning, even if I was making mistakes, something within me shifted. It was a quiet declaration, a gentle embracing of a new part of myself. It's not about pretending you're perfect, but about believing in your capacity to become. And along the way, I learned to embrace mistakes. This was perhaps the hardest because our education systems often teach us that mistakes are failures. But for language learning, perfectionism is truly the enemy of progress. Every stumble, every mispronounced word, every awkward sentence, they are not signs of failure. They are signs of effort. They are signs of trying. They are invaluable feedback, showing us where we are and gently guiding us where to go next. They are stepping stones, not roadblocks. Finally, the practice of mindfulness and presence became invaluable. How many times have we been in a conversation, but our minds are racing ahead, worried about the next thing we have to say, or replaying a mistake we just made? Staying mentally present during conversations, letting go of those worries, and truly focusing on the current moment, on listening, on understanding, on responding naturally, it allows for a much more organic and enjoyable speaking experience. And what about those days when it feels like a step backward? When the words still don't come, or you feel that familiar knot of anxiety? This is where mental resilience comes in. Setbacks are absolutely normal. They are part of any journey. The key is to bounce back with self-compassion, to remind yourself of your purpose, and to celebrate the small wins, even if it's just trying again the next day. It's about persistence, not perfection. So, as we settle into this episode, I invite you to remember this. Your voice, your ability to speak English fluently, is not just about the sounds you make. It's a reflection of your inner world, your beliefs, your courage to try, and your kindness towards yourself. It truly begins in your mind. Now, let's gently explore some words and phrases that can truly help us on this inner journey towards fluent English. These aren't just vocabulary words to memorize. They are concepts, keys, that unlock a more confident way of being in the language. The first one, which we touched upon earlier, is self-talk. Think of how self-talk as that quiet, continuous conversation you have with yourself inside your head. It's the narrator of your own story. When you tell yourself, "I can't do this," that's negative self-talk. But when you whisper, "I'm trying my best, and that's enough," that's positive self-talk. It's powerful, isn't it? For example, if I found myself struggling in a conversation, my old self-talk used to say, "You sound silly. Just stop talking." Now, I try to shift it, maybe by thinking, "It's okay to pause. I'm forming my thoughts, and I'm learning." Let's say that word aloud together, very slowly. Self-talk. Try it. Self-talk. It's about being aware of the words you use with yourself, even in your own mind. Next, we have a beautiful word, visualization. Visualization is the act of creating mental images of something you want to happen. It's like dreaming with your eyes open, but with purpose. Athletes use it to imagine winning races. Artists use it to see their finished masterpiece. For English, visualization means seeing yourself speaking clearly and confidently, even before you do it. For instance, before an important phone call, I might close my eyes for a moment and use visualization to picture myself speaking calmly, choosing my words easily, and understanding everything. It doesn't mean it will be perfect, but it prepares my mind. Let's try saying visualization. Slowly. Visualization. Feel the word on your tongue. Visualization. It's about painting a picture in your mind. Another crucial concept for our language journey, and indeed for life, is resilience. Resilience is the ability to bounce back, to recover from difficulties, setbacks, or challenges. It's that inner strength that helps you get up again after you've stumbled. In the context of learning English, resilience means that when you have a difficult conversation, or you forget a word, or you feel discouraged, you don't give up. You acknowledge the challenge, but then you find the strength to try again. For example, after a frustrating day of speaking, I remind myself to practice resilience, knowing that tomorrow is a new opportunity to learn and grow. Let's say resilience. Together, slowly. Resilience. It carries a sense of strength, doesn't it? Resilience. And finally, a phrase that might sound a little counterintuitive at first: embrace mistakes. To embrace mistakes means to accept them, to welcome them even as a natural and necessary part of your learning process, rather than fearing or avoiding them. It's about changing your perspective. Instead of seeing a mistake as a failure, you see it as a signal, a piece of information that tells you what you need to work on. If I mispronounce a word, instead of feeling embarrassed, I try to embrace that mistake and think, now I know how to say it better next time. It's a very freeing concept. Let's say the phrase slowly: embrace mistakes. Try it yourself. Embrace mistakes. It's about being kind to yourself on this journey. So we have self-talk, visualization, resilience, and to embrace mistakes. These aren't just words. They are tools for cultivating a confident mindset, a mental space where your English can truly bloom, unburdened by fear and self-doubt. Now that we've gently explored some words that help us name these inner processes, let's think about how we talk about our journey, our growth, and how our past experiences shape who we are and how we speak today. This brings us to a beautiful grammar pattern: the present perfect. It might sound like a grammar term from a textbook, but I want you to think of the present perfect as the language of our life's ongoing story, especially when it comes to learning and personal growth. It helps us connect what started in the past with what is true for us right now in this very moment. It's perfect for reflecting on how our mindset, our identity, and our confidence have been shaped over time. We use the fear present perfect when we talk about experiences we've had, actions that started in the past and continue to affect us now, or things that have changed over time. For example, instead of just saying, "I learned something," which is good, the present perfect allows us to say, "I have learned something important," which implies that the learning happened, and it still holds true. It still helps us. It still shapes who we are today. Think about our core idea. Confidence comes before fluency. How has that truth shown up in your life? Perhaps you could say, "I have always believed that trying is more important than being perfect." Or maybe, "I will have started to understand that my confidence truly impacts how well I speak." These sentences, using have believed or have started, connect your past insights to your present state of mind, showing how your inner world is evolving. Let's try a few more reflective examples using the present perfect. When we talk about our identity and belief, this grammar pattern is incredibly useful. For instance, you might say, "I have slowly begun to identify myself as an English speaker, even if I still make mistakes." See how that connects a gradual change from the past to your current identity? Or, I have never felt truly confident until I started focusing on my inner self-talk. This sentence describes an experience that has continued up to now. It's also wonderful for acknowledging the journey itself, for recognizing our efforts and changes. You might reflect and say, I have really tried, Mahali, to embrace my mistakes this past month, and I feel a difference. Or, my mindset has shifted so much since I started practicing visualization. Each of these sentences uses the present perfect to show how your past actions or experiences have a direct and clear impact on your present self, your present feelings, and your present confidence. So, when you think about your English journey, try to use the present perfect to tell your own story of growth. How have you changed? What have you learned about yourself? What new beliefs have you adopted? This way of speaking naturally expresses the ongoing, beautiful process of learning and becoming more confident, not just in English, but in life itself. It helps you articulate how your confidence truly has grown from within. Now, let's bring all these gentle ideas together. We've talked about how our minds shape our fluency, the power of our inner voice, and how our past experiences, using the present perfect, have brought us to where we are now. It's time to take these thoughts and turn them into natural spoken English. I'm going to share some sentences, and I invite you to slowly repeat them after me, letting the words sink in, feeling their meaning. This is not about being perfect. It's about feeling the rhythm, feeling the connection between your mind and your voice. First, let's practice a sentence about self-talk and how it has changed. I have started to replace negative self-talk with kinder words. Please repeat after me slowly. I have started to replace negative self-talk with kinder words. Beautiful. Now, let's try one about visualizing success, connecting it to our current confidence. I have regularly visualized myself speaking clearly, and it truly helps my confidence. Take your time. I have regularly visualized myself speaking clearly, and it truly helps my confidence. Excellent. And what about embracing those precious mistakes? I have learned to embrace my mistakes, seeing them as steps forward, not failures. Repeat gently with me. I have learned to embrace my mistakes, seeing them as steps forward, not failures. Now, let's move to some gentle prompts for your own practice, encouraging you to think in English and manage your emotions. Remember, this isn't a test. It's a quiet invitation to explore. To help you think in English, I encourage you to simply observe your surroundings and silently describe them in English. What do you see right now? What do you hear? What do you feel? For example, you might quietly think to yourself, I am sitting comfortably, or the light from the window is soft. This simple practice helps your brain start forming thoughts directly in English without translating. When you feel a little nervous before speaking, how can you manage emotions and bring yourself into the present moment, focusing on mindfulness and presence? Perhaps you can take a slow, deep breath and just notice your breath for a few seconds. Or look around and silently name 5 things you see, 5 things you hear. This helps calm your mind and bring your focus back to the conversation, away from worries about perfectionism. I invite you to pause this recording if you wish, and just for a moment reflect on this. What is one small way you can practice thinking in English today? even if it's just describing your cup of tea or the clouds outside. And how can you gently acknowledge and manage any feelings of anxiety when they arise, remembering to let go of that need for perfection? Maybe you can tell yourself, it's okay to feel this, and I am still going to try. You can also try writing these thoughts down in a journal. Just a few sentences each day about your reflections, your small victories, or even your struggles, all in English. This quiet practice strengthens your mental resilience and builds your confidence, one thought, one sentence at a time. As we gently bring our time together to a close today, I want to take a quiet moment to revisit the heart of what we've explored. That fluent English speaking truly begins not with your mouth, but deep within your mind. It's about more than just words. It's about the quiet strength you build, the kindness you offer yourself, and the courage to simply try. Remember how we talked about embracing mistakes? Please carry that thought with you. See every little stumble, every forgotten word, not as a failure, but as a beautiful sign of effort. Each one is a step, a ripple, a gentle push forward on your unique path. They are proof that you are growing, that you are actively engaging with this wonderful journey. And the idea of mental resilience, that quiet strength that helps you bounce back when things feel a little challenging, that's your secret power. It's knowing that setbacks are just temporary detours, not roadblocks. It's choosing to be kind to yourself and to persist. One breath, one word, one thought at a time. If this helped you feel more confident in English today, I'd be so grateful if you shared it with someone learning too. Your support helps this quiet space grow, reaching more hearts who are on their own English journey. Thank you truly for spending this time with me, for listening, and for allowing these ideas to gently settle within you. Until next time, take care of yourself and keep learning.